What is love? Do 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 do. What is love? Do do do. What is love? Do 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 do. What is love? Do 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 do. What is love? Do 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 do. What is love? Do 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 do. What is love? Hello, I'm Merlin Malilly. Welcome to the Love Show. Today's show is about understanding. Is love understanding? Let's find out. I know that I am much more able to love, much more open to love, if I am also understanding. Understanding is certainly like love, in that both are a two-way street. You can understand someone else's point of view, but until that person also understands your point of view, there is no mutual understanding. And therefore, not really any understanding at all. Love is similar in that one can love another forever, but if the love is never reciprocated, then it's somehow not the same. It's somehow damaged, somehow broken, isn't it? Somehow not love, somehow anti-love, maybe. But it's somehow not the same without reciprocation. We seem to need the reciprocation, even of unconditional love. Even if one says one doesn't need it, it seems to me like love still needs the reciprocation. Love needs it. Like love wants to multiply and carry on. Two-way streets, love and understanding, where they intersect. Now that is where real love and true understanding are. But do they really intersect, or are they the same street? According to the Dalai Lama, the origin of suffering is a state of mind that is undisciplined, untamed. A mind that does not exhibit understanding. Buddhist teachings describe the cessation of suffering as the highest state of happiness. The Dalai Lama said a level of realization, a level of understanding. True happiness is when we understand and overcome suffering and delusion. Freedom from suffering and delusion. And to not be deluded is to understand. To be free from suffering is to understand. I did not really understand secular and non-secular, ironically, until really I researched for this show. And this particular one, I was listening to the Dalai Lama speak, and he happened to explain secular and non-secular, and he defined secular as having respect for all religions, and non-secular as not having respect for all religions. nowadays we have so many religions, it's really hard to say anything is really secular at all anymore. I was first introduced to these terms by a woman who had grown into adulthood without having ever been allowed to listen to non-secular music. And she explained that secular music was church music to her, and that non-secular music was not church music. But now with this new understanding from the Dalai Lama of understanding, I am understanding so much more that I didn't understand before. But what I'm really understanding is misunderstanding. Are you understanding? I had a hard time with this, so I'll take you through it slowly. In our history, there were just people first. Human history. No religion, just survival. So there are people, and then these people start banging on some drums, or just banging on some things and making some beats and patterns. And one of the oldest instruments is actually the mouth harp, which is a rather technical instrument for an old instrument. It's you put it in your mouth. It's really hard to play. It was traditionally played the way that Snoopy plays it in Snoopy Come Home while traveling. It's a easily traveled instrument, small, light, stick it in your pocket. So when did we decide on this secular, non-secular stuff? When religion first came along, or who decided? I don't think the ancient Egyptians separated their music into secular and non-secular. I don't think the Greeks or the Romans or the Persians did either. I've actually been studying the ancients, and they all worshipped music as a gift from the gods or the heavens. And music in general was very special to all of them. Did Babylon first question secular and non-secular? Was it the Muslims? Was it the Hebrews? Somewhere in biblical story worship? The Old Testament? The New Testament? Certainly Constantine, the Roman emperor, had some ideas set down in this regard, and he set down rules for people to follow in this regard as well. So I guess the Christians get most of the credit, but we really don't know who started secular versus non-secular. And Constantine wasn't even Christian. He wasn't baptized as a Christian until right before he died, but he insisted that his whole empire become Christian. So whose rules does one follow? That of everyone else? That of yourself? That of your religion? That of everyone else's religion? I'm a composer and a writer. I write music and lyrics. I started writing music and lyrics before I understood the complexities of secular and non-secularity. And I'm still not so sure that I understand it. But when I was still a teenager and writing music, I really didn't understand it. I did not understand that my music could inadvertently become non-secular. that it could also inadvertently become insulting to a whole religion. And part of my faith is to understand other faiths. And I'm a fairly smart and tentative learner. And I didn't understand that I could somehow be insulting someone else with my music. Apparently, my whole religion, being a female, my chosen profession as an artist, can all be non-secular things. And therefore, I can, just by being these things that I cannot really help, I can be insulting a whole religion in ways I don't even understand. Therefore, nowadays, when musicians have swears in their songs, for instance, I don't think they are trying to insult anyone's religion. They are just trying to convey their truth. Sometimes my truth comes out with swears. And before I understood, it came out more when I was young, more often with swears. But I believe that God or heaven have given me every song that I've written, as if they're all floating around in heaven, and either I'm playing along or I'm repeating it back. You know those real magical musical moments? The ones that stay in your heart, the real special magic ones in music? I believe those are rare moments that you get to play along with heaven. Those are the rare moments that heaven lets you play along, if you can keep up. So if God or heaven delivered the song, how could it be non-secular? Swears are just words. Certainly you don't want to say them in church, but they are just words, aren't they? Some people believe that they aren't, that they're more than just words. Some people believe that words are like a spell. And it's interesting, the word swear, another word for swears are curses. That's like a spell. As I grow older, I've learned to be specific. And we spell our words out. Spell it, spelling. But as I grow older, I've learned to be more specific. And in order to reach more people, it is best to understand and be understanding to one another. As a writer, as a composer, as a mother, as a person, I try to be understanding. I try to understand that words can be destructive. I try to understand that words can be constructive. I work to make mine constructive these days. I used to start songs in kind of a negative way, and then I would always churn to a more positive note by the end of the song. Sort of my style, but I'm kind of developing a new style that's just more constructive. I try to make something that heals and builds rather than that which knocks down or hurts. Understanding is what heals and builds. Understanding is constructive. Understanding is productive and positive and compassionate. Understanding is love. I understanding is love. A dog, a cat, a human, they all depend on mother, or at least the understanding of some other, usually the mother. Mammals all depend on that understanding, on compassion, on love for survival. Even birds who lay eggs, who sit on them, and then when the eggs hatch, they bring them food and they teach the baby birds to fly. The mother's understanding that these babies cannot get their own food is necessary for their survival. Their lives depend on it, literally. If someone doesn't understand the babies, they don't live. If understanding isn't part of our lives, we would not survive. That's true of love as well. We proved that in our necessity episode last season, that we need love to survive. Literally need love to survive. We need understanding to understand that we need love to survive. If they are not the same thing, they are surely tightly interwoven. Certainly, at the very least, linked, no? I think love is understanding. I think understanding is love. What is love? It's understanding. What's understanding? It is love. Thanks for watching. Thanks for understanding. I love you. Get out there and understand.